What up, YouTube? It's your boy Marvel of Matter back with another video. And today what I'm going to talk about are 3 qualities to look for when you're vetting a girlfriend, right? When you're vetting a girl to be your girlfriend, I should say. And I had a couple commenters ask me if I could talk more about relationships a little bit, because I talk a lot about, attraction and, how to get the girl's attention or leverage the attention, and like a lot of the early stages, reading the signs that she's interested, those type of things. But he's like, all right, for the guys who don't have a problem with that, how do you transition to a relationship, right? So I'm gonna start talking more about, those type of dynamics. And the first thing that, you should be doing when you're trying to transition is looking to see if this is somebody you even want to transition that into, right? If you want to transition into a relationship with this woman. And so there's certain qualities that I think, from what I've seen in my experience in dealing with women, that, are important. And the number one thing, the baseline, the foundation to me is definitely morals, right? This woman has to have morals. She has to have values. She has to have integrity. She has to have these things. She has to be honest, right? These type of things are of the utmost importance. If you see her interact with other people and she does not have these things when she's interacting, if you see that she will take advantage of somebody, she will lie to somebody without blinking, right? And just lies that don't matter, things that don't matter at all. She'll just lie because she doesn't want to have that little awkward moment. She doesn't want to have that little confrontation with somebody by telling the truth, or just, it really usually isn't confrontation even, it's just awkwardness. Like people lie because they don't want to deal with awkwardness, right? If this is a person that, and this is normal, a lot of people do this, just to get through the day. It just makes the day easier to just, go along with little shit that you don't really go along with. Like, a lot of people will do that, but that is going to be somebody that you're going to be dealing with on a daily basis, right? And now there's 2 things that can happen with this. Is it can be a sign that they are a liar in big things, or it can be just a problem in and of itself, because if you're dealing with this person on a daily basis and they're not really being honest with you, do you really even know this person? Do you really even, like, you know what I'm saying? You don't even know the person that you're with because they're just going along with anything, right? So they have like overly people-pleasing tendencies, right? It's tough because seems like it's nice, but it comes with a lack of integrity, right? You can't be a people pleaser if you have integrity. That's just not, those 2 things can't go together. So, right, a person without integrity, a woman without integrity is just, it's going to be a recipe for disaster. If she's willing to do whatever it takes to achieve a goal, right? And sacrifice, other people in the process, sacrifice, morals and standards and all that in the process of getting what she wants, you will eventually become a means to her end as well, right? When her goal changes, now, right now her goal might be I want to be with this guy, I want to have this, I want to have that. But once that changes, if she's the type of person that will do anything to reach her goal, to achieve her goal, you will just be a means to achieve that goal. You will be tossed to the wayside. You would not be important. Once her feelings about you change, if she doesn't have morals and integrity to continue to be a good person, even when she doesn't feel a certain way about a person, right? If she doesn't have that, this is how those divorces come later, when the woman just treats the dude like trash, takes everything he has, or cheats on him, or whatever it is. Like, once the feeling about you changes, then it's over, right? If the feeling switches to a new guy and she has no morals or integrity to keep her behavior in a respectful way, well, she'll be like, okay, look, I know this is gonna be a hard conversation, but I don't really like you anymore, so I want to go over here and be with this guy, right? If she can't tell you that, then she's gonna cheat, she's gonna lie, she's gonna, swing over. And this is common, right? So it's not easy to find a moral person. It's not easy to find a good person, right? That's why so many people, especially, it depends on where you live, right? If you grow up in a culture where that's the standard, then this is not going to apply to you. But if you grow up in like a city, like a New York City or LA, or, Miami, something like that, maybe Houston, wherever it is, and it's like fast paced and people are trying to get ahead and people are trying to, right? It's hard to date in those places because these are people with low integrity. These are people with low morals. They don't really have moral standards. That's why it's hard to make it if you but it's hard to make it if you have moral standards, right? It's a lot easier to just give up those things and go along and do what you need to do, say what you need to say, and then get yourself to the top, right? So it's tough, right? If you're dating in these environments. But the reason that it doesn't work out often is because we settle for people that don't have these things, right? So we're dealing with liars, cheaters, thieves, you know what I'm saying? People that will do whatever it takes. And if your goal is to be long term with this person, and like I said, you know, have a wife or whatever it is, or just not get played. If your goal is to not get played, don't deal with somebody who's a player in the sense of life, right? In the sense of they'll do whatever they got to do for them to ease the moment or to make the moment the most beneficial for them. They'll sacrifice anything, anybody. Don't deal with that type of woman. So if you see little signs of that, right? Like I said, the little white lies, if you see that she'll manipulate the situation, or she gets enjoyment out of it, or you know, enjoyment out of drama, that type of stuff. Like, you know, all that type of stuff. Like she want to be in the mix, she want to, you know, all that stuff is like, because if you're in a relationship, you're gonna need to protect it, bro. There's too much. It's not the old days, right? There's so much going on. There's so much access to other people. There's so much people that have access to us. It's too much going on for you both not to be solid and like, all right, I have my integrity, you have your integrity, we have our integrity, and we're standing on that, right? And we don't want to be, you know, infected with the rest of everybody else. It has to be like that. You'll have to both want it. You'll have to both have the integrity to hold it up. If that's not the case, it's gonna crumble. It's gonna be bad. And another thing, side note, make sure you actually want to be in a relationship. Make sure you actually want to be in a relationship and understand what that comes with. Understand that you need to have the same integrity, the same morals, that same thing, right? You have to have that in order for it to work. It's very easy to be tempted out here. It's very easy to be led astray. It's very easy to all those things. So you have to have that foundation, that solid, you know, moral compass, that North Star. You got to have that of like, okay, I'll go a little, of course, maybe. I mean, everybody got to sacrifice a little bit. Nobody can just be like, no, I'm not doing anything I don't believe. You know, that's not realistic. But you don't want to be, you know, off the path too much. You don't want to be off the path too much. And you want a girl that's the same way, right? So that's the foundation. That's the first thing that you want to look for in a girl. Now, the second thing to me is intelligence, but more like smart, you know, more just like ability to problem solve. You want this woman to be able to look at the limitations of a situation and find a way around them while holding up those morals, right? That's the key thing. That's that you need them in tandem, because it's easier to, you know, get around the limitations of a situation when you lie, when you cheat, when you steal, when you manipulate, you know what I'm saying? When you will sacrifice somebody else in order to get what you want, right? It's easier to do it like that. But if she's able to, solve problems, right, while maintaining her integrity. And sometimes situations don't require integrity, right? It's just like real life problems. Like, okay, how do I fix this tire? How do I do this? How do I do that? Like, not that she's going to be fixing the tire, but some things are just practical problems. You want to make sure she can do certain things, because you want to be able to trust her, right? That the commonality between those two is trust. You want to trust her integrity. You want to trust her morals, right? You want to trust that she's a good person, an ethical person, but you also want to trust that, like, okay, I don't have to do everything and be her dad and, like, you know, kind of solve all her problems. And, you know, I'll have somebody that I can trust their opinion if they you know, offer their opinion if I need, you know, to talk something out, to think something through, right? I know that the feedback they're giving me is going to be valuable, because I know that, okay, this is somebody that without me left alone could still, you know, maneuver a little bit, could still maneuver. Now, it's going to be varying degrees, right? Depending on your intelligence, depending on, you know, your financial status, all this type of stuff is going to vary, and this quality will matter more or less. But I still think it's important that the quality is there, because you got to think fast forward. If you have children, you want somebody smart to be handling your children. You want somebody that knows how to handle situations to be handling your children. You can't always be there. Most people, that's not the reality. You can't always be there. So it's like, I need a good vice president. I need a good co-captain. I need a good, you know what I'm saying? I need a good colonel, whatever, however you want to label it. Like, you need a partner there that's going to be able to handle themselves and handle things when you're not there. You need somebody that's going to be able to do that. And with the children especially, because it's very, very easy to mess up raising children. There's a lot of messed up people out here. So you need her to be able to like handle that. Of course, you're going to be involved in it. Of course, you're going to be it's between, however y'all handle y'all thing, it's going to be between y'all two, how y'all, the dynamic, whatever. But of course, it's going to be a team effort. But she got to hold up her end of the bargain. And if she's not a smart person, if she's dumb with her money, if she's dumb with like everything that she, you know what I mean? If she's just dumb, it's just going to make your life that much harder. Right? It's going to make your life that much harder to have to just be around somebody, deal with somebody who's just causing unnecessary problems, right? That's another thing that being smart does, is like, okay, even if she's not out here solving all the problems, she's not causing unnecessary problems. And being with somebody who's not intelligent will cause unnecessary problems. So you don't want to do that. Not only that, but you want to be able to communicate with this person, right? If you're going to really be with this person for a while, you're going to want to have somebody that is on the same intellectual level as you and can have conversation. And you guys are able to like understand each other and kind of just get each other. Like me personally, when I talk to certain people, I grew up in like advanced classes or whatever, right? I grew up when I was in third grade. When I was in fourth grade, they put all the smart kids in like a class and they kind of kept us together separate from all the other kids, whatever. And it went through like that all the way up until, college. But in 8th grade, I got a C- in algebra. So when I got to high school, I had to take, just general ed, regular, the classes that everybody's in. I had to take geometry, general ed. And I was actually in 9th grade, but the class it's like in general ed, it was a 10th grade class. So I got to that class and I was just like, bro, it's very different. Like interacting with people is very like just the dynamic of how the kids were, how they behaved, the stuff they talked about. Like it was very, very different. And to this day, I can tell when I'm talking to somebody and it's like, oh, I could tell you were like a gifted kid. Like I could tell you were really smart. I can immediately just click with those type of people. And women included, right? When I'm talking to women, I could tell that, oh, this is a smart woman. She's sharp. Like she gets it. And it's not like overly educated, right? It's not about being overly educated. It's just like the way that you kind of view the world and see the world. And you want to have like that similar view. That's gonna matter a lot, right? And that leads me into number 3. Y'all want to make sure that you're compatible with this girl. Compatibility is very, very important, right? She can be moral, she can be smart, but if y'all not compatible on a mental level, but also on just like the way that you see fit to live life, right? If she's wants to live a fast-paced life and you want a slow-paced life, don't waste your time. You feel me? If she wants to be more risque and and you're a very conservative type of guy, like that's not gonna work. If she's a girl who just like is like, I love to have my male friends and I like that, and you don't like that, it's not gonna work. Right? It's just going to be unnecessary fighting. Y'all should align on certain beliefs, certain ways that you feel like a relationship should be run, and then in the future how you feel like life should be lived. You know what I'm saying? Like, where do y'all want to live? Where do y'all want to, how many kids y'all want to have? Like that type of stuff, obviously the big stuff, but also even on the smaller stuff, like, okay, am I the type of person who always wants to be up under this person or have this person up under me? Or am I a person that kind of needs space a little bit, but they always need to be on like together and always interacting and always this, right? Is that the case? Are y'all compatible in that way? You might not be. Now, everything is not going to be compatible, but you got to decide for yourself, what are the things I can tolerate and what are the things that I can't tolerate, right? Decide that in yourself before you even talking to a girl. Then see if the girl has the things that you can tolerate. See if those are the issues. And then the big things that you wouldn't be able to tolerate if they were different, see if y'all line up on that. If y'all line up on those and like, okay, she does do this, I don't really like this, but it's not a big deal. right? Compatibility is so important. Now for me, I that's usually how I find out that a relationship is not working is on this third thing, like compatibility. And it's hard to find compatibility early on, right? Because when you first start, she want to do everything you want to do. You want to do everything she wants to do, right? Like that's that honeymoon phase where it's like, you know, y'all just infatuated with each other. And so, you know, you kind of see, so it's hard to see like, okay, what do you actually like? What do you actually not like? Because you tolerate things that you normally wouldn't like in another person for this person. It's just a natural thing that happens. We can't, it's hard to control it. It's hard to control it unless you just like decide I'm not really gonna be open like that. But then it's like, what's the point of being in a relationship, right? You might as well just be single. So if you're being, you know, vulnerable in the situation, if you're allowing yourself to really be in the situation, it's going to be hard to see compatibility. And so a lot of times this will come out later that you're not compatible. But I think as soon as you see it, you should just, as soon as you see you're not compatible, just cut it off, because you're not going to get more compatible. You're not going to get more compatible unless this person wants to change or you want to change or whatever. Then you know, that's different. Like if if one of y'all genuinely sees like, okay, I do this, y'all have a conversation, they're like, you do have a point, yeah, I can see how that's a problem, right? And then they're like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna work on that. And then you see what it is. Like life is not, it's not gonna be perfect. You're not gonna just find the perfect girl. That's not happening. But y'all can build and grow and kind of like, you know, compromise a little bit to get to a place where, you know, it's feasible, right? And then if she has the morals and the intelligence, then, you know, there's a lot of problems that you're avoiding with that. So then working on these little compatibility problems is like, it's not that big of a deal. But if you don't have the moral stuff, that's a lot of unnecessary problems, right? That make it so these compatibility things get inflated. Or if she's doing dumb things because she's not intelligent, now these compatibility things get inflated. And now, all right, you want to listen, you don't want to listen to music while you're driving, and she does. Now that becomes a huge problem because, oh, she lied to you the other day too. Or, oh, she spent money on this that y'all didn't really have, and you think it's a stupid idea, you know what I mean? And so you already kind of resenting from all these things, and then the compatibility things get blown out of proportion, right? So you want to make sure that, especially morally, intelligence wise, and compatibility, that y'all in alignment with those three things. Now, how long it's going to take for you to figure it out, that depends on you. But I think you should give it some time and really try to pay attention. Even in that honeymoon phase, try to pay attention to things and really be real with yourself about, okay, I know me when I'm not in the honeymoon phase. Would I really be okay with this? Would I really on my worst day when I'm upset, I know how I am. Would I want to be around this person? Would I still be like into this person with the way that this person moves? Would I still be cool with that? Would I still want to engage with that? Right? Because that's going to happen sometimes. So you have to understand that. All right, fellas. So that's how you vet for a woman. Those are 3 things that I would vet for. They're actually pretty general as well. So ladies, if you're watching this, those are things that you should look for as well in a relationship. I think that they're just 3 things that you should vet for in, like, you know, when you're looking for a partner in general. But yeah, it's tough out here, man. It's tough out here. So vet wisely. All right. That's the video for today. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Drop some more topics in the comment section. I got my coaching calls in the description box, Instagram in the description box. And y'all know what it is. It's mind over matter, Marvel over matter. Let's get it.